HoneyBuntv.
You making me wanna spend this money, gorgeous, all on you, girl.
Hey honey buns, and what is up? Today we are going to be making a tulle top. Everything you're going to need is going to be in the description box below, but as you can see, you're going to need some fabric, measuring tape, elastic, scissors, tulle of course, and a safety pin, which I do not have here. And as I said before, keep your scraps because this tulle is some extra tulle I had in my fabric bin. Now first things first, we are just going to open up our fabric, and as y'all know, any other time I tell y'all to fold it hamburger style or hot doggy dog style, but in this case it doesn't matter which way you fold it over, just so you can have extra fabric to work with, because this is a top and it's not going to need that much. Now after you cut your fabric and cut a nice good old piece for your top, you are just going to measure out your measurements. Now as you can see here, I'm just measuring the length of how long, well not how long, but the measurement of my bust basically. So if your bust is, let's say, 32 inches, you are going to measure 32 inches horizontally, as you can see me here doing. Now when we talk about how wide we want this top to be, this is the second measurement that I'm doing. And while I say how wide, I would advise maybe to add an inch and or 2 inches to the top, because you're going to need to make a casing for your elastic. So just as you see me there doing slightly, I just measured the width and I added on 2 inches because my elastic is 1 inch and I'm using 2 pieces of elastic. Here you literally just see me folding over my casing. So like I said, my elastic is 1 inch wide, so that means my casing is going to be 1 inch wide, or maybe like 1.2 inches wide, things of that magnitude, because the casing needs to get through. And this is the elastic right here, so I'm just gonna probably put that on top just to make sure that this can get through, because you don't want to have a problem where you're putting your elastic through and it's not just sitting right or it's folded. So now I am getting ready to cut my elastic, and like I said before, as I did my measurement for my top, the elastic is going to be the same thing, but you are just going to take away an inch and or 2. So if your bust is 32 inches, you may want to do 31 inches or 30 inches for your elastic, so this can fit you properly, right, because it's stretchy. Now the same way that I measured my top, the same way that I measured the width and the length, I'm going to measure my tulle. And now I'm just showing you, when you do tulle, you need to have 2 layers. Tulle is very thin, so if you do it with 1 layer, baby, that thing gonna be tore up, and we ain't doing no tore up things. So you need to make sure you have 2 layers. Okay, now we are gonna get ready to prep our tulle. Now beforehand, I will put the description and a link below for the prom dress, but I did do tulle before, so if you guys want to know how to scrunch your tulle up another way besides this one where I'm kind of just pleating and folding it over, it is literally right here. But I'm just prepping my tulle so I can put it on my fabric. And some people, when they do their tulle, they'll put it on their fabric and scrunch as they go along. I like to scrunch before. It makes time go faster, okay? That's just me. And as you can see on the other side, the tulle was scrunching. Now, I'm going to say right here, I did make a mistake, because what I should have done was fold my fabric over before making my casing, because if you sew it down after you make your casing, you can't get that elastic through there. But neither here or there. What you should do is take the end pieces and sew them together and then make the casing, which I'll show y'all later on. But this is your casing right now. You're literally going to pin it down, and as you can see, there's an opening right there that we need to make, right? So where my left hand is, I'm going to start sewing the left way, and I'm going to stop at where that pin is, where my right hand is. And take your time. Take your time. There's no rush. I ain't going nowhere, and you ain't going nowhere right now neither, so take your time. After we do that, we are just going to, like I said, start from the left, so all the way to we get to that right pin, or you can start from the right until you get all the way to that left pin. Now remember what I said in the beginning, you should sew the end pieces together before you make the casing. So this is me doing it after the fact and realizing that I made a oopsie and I should have done it after my casing. Okay, so I'm just putting that through the sewing machine. I realized it, I opened it back up, I had to bust the seams and do it the proper way. You guys see the orange thread, so I did orange so you can see what I am doing, but in any other instance, whatever your fabric is, that needs to be your thread color. So where you see the thread, that orange on my tool, that is where I'm going to sew on top of. But also where you see that orange on top of my fabric, you are going to put that tool, match those seams up, and sew right along that line, and or you can sew above the line because your elastic is going in there, so you really don't want to sew accidentally on your elastic. So you can sew just a little bit up if that helps. So we are almost done, and because we're almost done, all I'm going to tell you, honey buns, to do is literally sew all around, okay? And you may notice once you get to the other end, it's like, dang, I did my first row. Literally go up, do the same thing you literally just did the first time to put that tool down, okay, to sew it on down. And this is me just simply starting my second row. So all I did once I finished that, I took the tool, put it on top, and sewed it around. Now I'm finished. Hold on now. We need to put the elastic in. So remember that opening I said where we start at the left and we come back to the right? I'm putting my safety pin in my elastic, and I'm literally putting my elastic through that casing. And once we get done with putting that elastic through the casing for the top and for the bottom, we are going to close that literally by sewing over where that opening is. So I'll show you that really soon. So now that I put the elastic in, all I'm doing is literally just sewing over where that casing opening was. And you can do a zigzag stitch because this is stretch fabric. This ain't no straight fabric, so do stretch a stretch stitch. So see you, honey buns, on HoneyBuntv next week. Comment down below some more videos. Mwah!